guys, it's me Bo, back once again on the Film Scene Investigation channel. I hope everyone is doing good. In today's video, I'm going to be reviewing the 1995 erotic drama Full Body Massage. As always guys, if you haven't already, please consider subscribing to the channel. All of the support is greatly appreciated. So, Full Body Massage from 1995 was a very intriguing film by the late director Nicholas Roeg. Starring actress Mimi Rogers and Australian actor Brian Brown, this drama aired on Showtime, the American television network, back in November of 1995. Now, up until a year ago, I'd never heard of this film before. It basically came to my attention after I'd searched through Brian Brown's filmography. I'd just seen the movie FX from 1986, and it was the first time I'd seen Brian Brown in a lead role. It was a great movie, and he definitely pulled it off. So yeah, I checked out some of his other projects, and Full Body Massage came up. I added it to my watch list and finally got round to viewing it just a few weeks back. This is a fairly forgotten movie that I never really hear people talk about. If anything, the only thing that the movie is remembered for is its overt nudity. But after viewing it, without sounding too highbrow, really kind of have to get past the nudity to understand the context. So the story followed this affluent businesswoman called Nina, played by actress Mimi Rogers. We saw her living this lonely life in this big house full of expensive artworks. On the day she was expecting her weekly massage, Brian Brown's character, Fitch, a trained masseuse, arrived at her house unexpectedly. Fitch had swapped shifts with Nina's regular masseuse, Douglas, who was with another client. Nina was initially confused as to why Douglas had never told her, but after Fitch explained further, Nina relented and went ahead with the appointment. This basically set up the crux of the story, with this long, drawn-out conversation taking place between the two. There were many topics discussed, ranging from art to spirituality to relationships, even healing methods. While some of the discussion did indeed drag on, I thought a few interesting points were raised. There was this social commentary on Western medicine and how the general public are so closed-minded to alternative methods. This was told through the Fitch character as he showed off several different massage techniques. I thought it was quite an interesting take on this Western ideology and how people are so conditioned at times by their society to believe in these traditional medical procedures. Various things were discussed, but the subject of relationships kept coming up. We discovered that Nina had several relationships that basically all ended badly. And while she was now single, she had built up this close, erotic connection with her masseuse, Douglas. This explained Nina's confusion at the start when Finch arrived unexpectedly. Through conversation, Fitch mentioned that Douglas was gay, thinking that Nina knew all about it. Nina was taken back by what she had heard, but pretended she knew anyway to try and save face. All this time, Douglas had led Nina on, thinking that they were building this close bond together. All the while, in reality, Douglas was leading another life as a gay man. But then again, knowing Nina's past history, it did make me question whether Douglas had led Nina on, or if Nina had basically just read the wrong signals given she was in such a vulnerable state. As the story unfolded, we also learned about Fitch's own relationship with his girlfriend, Alice. Several flashbacks showed how happy the couple once were, all before Alice was involved in a fatal car accident. I mean, yeah, it was obvious that Fitch cared deeply for Alice, and he never stopped loving her, even after she died. But Fitch never cried or showed sadness. Instead, he just bottled it all up and carried on. Fitch and Nina continue to share their individual stories of heartbreak as they carried on with the massage. Even though they were practically strangers, Fitch's upbeat charm allowed Nina to feel comfortable and reveal more details about herself. But even though she felt comfortable, unlike her previous dealings with Douglas, Fitch remained professional and never took things too far. Nina would go on to invite Fitch back the following week, leaving open the potential for a future relationship between them. I have to say, I thought these two characters sharing their personal experiences with each other during this full body massage was quite an intriguing concept. This, of course, is a very dialogue heavy film that certainly isn't for everyone. It also acts as a palate cleanser to your usual Hollywood action and suspense that audiences are so used to. Now, I have to mention the great chemistry between actors Mimi Rogers and Brian Brown. For this concept and for this unique setup to work, it was imperative by director Nicholas Roeg to cast two actors that fit perfectly together. It was a great casting decision to hire Rogers and Brian Brown, as the two made for an excellent pairing. Throughout the movie, I was kind of half expecting them to get it together. I mean, given the circumstances, it would be pretty easy for them to, hook up. But it didn't happen. And that was because these two characters were still burdened by the trauma from their past relationships. And in a way, their conversation acted as therapy for both of them. Mimi Rogers portraying this strong, confident woman with this ultra feminine energy was very appealing, especially in light of how women are portrayed in today's cinema. Yes, we still see strong women on our screens today, but they're usually portrayed way more masculine, almost as if all the female traits have been cut out. I believe the word is girl boss, the modern term that people use these days. Yeah, it's ruining franchises. I mean, the Tomb Raider remake is a great example of that. But yeah, seeing the character embrace her feminine side was very refreshing, and it did make me think about the lack of strong feminine characters in modern cinema. I guess you could say maybe Wonder Woman, Gal Gadot, but these examples come few and far between. Now, I have to take a moment to talk about the beautiful and somber ending of the film. We saw Brian Brown's character, Fitch, leave Nina's house and drive away. Still full of emotion and the memories of Alice, Fitch decided to pull out an old cassette tape and played it. The tape was of Alice singing this old blues song we'd seen take place in an earlier flashback. Fitch only played the tape for a few moments before ejecting it from the car stereo. It was almost as if hearing the sound of Alice's voice was too much for him to handle. Fitch just needed a few moments to hear Alice's voice again, which acted as a great and painful reminder of his loss. Yeah, I love this ending. I thought it was great, and I mean, it's very small. To some, it's very trivial, but if you stay with the story and see how it progressed, yeah, I mean, you could feel the heartbreak that Fitch had. And so, dislikes for Full Body Massage 1995. My main dislike for the film would be the lack of Brian Brown. Now, the Fitch character, by all means, had tons of screen time, but that was usually shared with Nina. I wanted more scenes specifically between Fitch and Alice. From the flashbacks that we did get, it was enough to piece together and understand Fitch's mindset. Still, more of Fitch's backstory should have been given, as it was one of the most intriguing aspects of the film. Make no mistake, Brian Brown is the best thing in this movie. He is the one that kept my attention throughout the 90 minutes. There were several flashbacks in this film, a lot of them to do with Nina and her past relationships. But the flashbacks that we did get with Alice and Fitch, yeah, that was the most interesting stuff. Yeah, I guess in a way, the Fitch character was more interesting and captivating compared to Nina. Yeah, it's a shame that there wasn't more backstory, but it is what it is, I guess. Another dislike I had for the film was its slow pacing, which really did let the film down. This was a dialogue heavy with minimal characters and minimal locations. I totally understand what director Nicholas Roeg was attempting here, but I still think a quicker pace or even maybe more characters could have been added, which would have been an improvement. I guess my criticism isn't really aimed at the director, but more of the editor, Louise Rubacki. So yeah, as it stands, this is a poorly edited movie that doesn't really give you much reason to go back and rewatch. And so, ratings for Full Body Massage 1995. After giving it some thought, I'm going to be rating this movie a 4 out of 10. This was basically a story of two people who were both haunted by their past relationships. Through the healing power of a full body massage, Nina was able to get some clarity in her life. In addition, the Fitch character was reminded of his deceased lover, Alice, who clearly meant a lot to him. If you've ever been involved in a bad breakup, then it would be easy to relate to these characters. This film definitely has a limited appeal, not really garnered to a mainstream audience. For those who haven't seen it, who may expect to see some softcore pornography, I will say you'll probably be disappointed. Yes, there was indeed a lot of nudity, but that really wasn't the point. I mean, the filmmakers could have overly sexualized Nina, but they decided to take a more subtle approach. If you're a fan of Brian Brown, then this is a must-watch. As mentioned, he is the best part of this film, and while it isn't his best work, it's an engaging performance that deserves to be seen. And yeah, that's all from me today, guys. I hope you've enjoyed the video. I'll be back next week with another review. Of course, take care. I'll see you all soon.